Have you ever woken up with the eerie feeling that today would change everything? Not based on logic, but on something deeper, something cellular, something unspeakably real. You call it instinct, or déjà vu, or weird energy, but the Taoists called it entanglement, the hidden fabric beneath time and space, where what you feel is already happening. You look at the phone right before it rings. You think of someone, and they message you. You take a different route and avoid disaster. Coincidence or connection? Not superstition, but subtle synchronization. Modern science has a name for this: quantum entanglement. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. Taoism calls it the invisible harmony of all things. Different words, same mystery. Entanglement means two particles become linked and stay linked, no matter how far apart. Change one and the other changes too, without delay, without distance, without explanation. What if I told you you are one of those particles, and your subconscious is already entangled with futures you've yet to live, with people you've yet to meet, with possibilities that haven't yet happened, but already exist in potential? You don't attract your reality, you resonate with it. This video is not about manifestation, it's about memory, energetic memory, stored in your field, calling you, tuning you, guiding you, because the Tao doesn't move in a straight line. It spirals, it synchronizes, it sings, and right now, it's singing to you. Let's decode what quantum physicists are just starting to understand. Let's remember what Taoists always knew. You are not separated from your future. You are entangled with it. And once you remember how to listen, your subconscious will unlock the hidden energy you were always meant to hold. You don't need to believe in magic to understand energy. You just need to understand science is finally catching up to what sages saw in stillness. Quantum entanglement isn't just theory. It's been proven again, and again, and again. Two particles created together, split apart, placed miles away. One gets touched, the other reacts. Instantly. No signal, no delay. It breaks the rules of space. It breaks the rules of time. And yet, it matches everything the Tao has always whispered. When one thing moves, everything else rearranges. Now imagine this. What if your thoughts are one particle, and your future is the other? What if your random gut feeling isn't random at all? What if it's just the other half of the equation, vibrating back to you? Entanglement means everything is already linked. Everything is already known. You don't cause your future. You collide with it, like magnetic currents drawn across a field, already mapped, already waiting. Einstein called it spooky, but the Tao says it's natural, effortless, inherent. The ancient Chinese symbol for Tao, it's not a sword, or a flame, or a command. It's a flow, a swirl, a dance. Yin meets yang. One curves into the other, not in control, but in conversation. So here's the paradox. The more you try to force your future, the more entanglement breaks. The more you let go, the more it returns. Quantum entanglement isn't about control, it's about coherence. When your nervous system settles, your field becomes clear, and the Tao can match you to what you're already becoming. So stop trying to force results and start syncing with rhythm. Your job isn't to push the wave, it's to paddle into alignment at just the right moment. Quantum physics says if two things ever interacted, they stay entangled forever, which means every person you've loved, every moment that broke you, Every decision you almost made is still inside your field, not as a ghost, but as a signal. Let's start with the past. You're not just shaped by memory, you're entangled with it. The childhood home, the breakup that left you breathless, the teacher who believed in you, or didn't, all of them ripple through you every time a similar situation arises. It's why some rooms feel familiar before you've even walked in. It's why certain voices feel like home, even if they come from strangers. You're not broken, you're entangled. Now let's talk about people. Every intimate moment, shared breath, touch, laughter, silence, creates energetic threads. These threads don't dissolve with time, even after goodbye, even after death. In Taoist terms, this is not attachment, it's resonance. You are not tethered to them, you are echoing with them, until one of you changes frequency. So what happens when you grow? The entanglement shifts, the bond either harmonizes or breaks apart. That breakup that felt like you lost a limb, it wasn't all in your head, it was in your field. You were literally entangled. But entanglement isn't bondage, it's communication. It's a two-way antenna. You can learn from the signal. You can also release it, with attention, with ceremony, with coherence. Now, let's talk about the future. Yes, your future self is entangled with you too. That version of you who's already calm, wealthy, aligned. They're real, not metaphorically, energetically. The Tao teaches, all becoming is remembering. You're not chasing the future, you're reuniting with it. It's already shaped like you. You just haven't stepped into the shape, yet. So if you feel lost, if nothing works, maybe it's not about doing more. Maybe it's about feeling where the thread is tight and listening. Because the Tao doesn't shout, it hums. And the field, it's already calling. So you've done the visualizations, said the affirmations, burned the sage, made the vision board, but nothing lands. Why? Because your field isn't matching your mind. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your nervous system is the real manifester, not your thoughts, not your Pinterest board, not your words, but the signals you emit when no one is watching. Let's get real. You say, I want abundance, but your body says, danger, scarcity ahead. You whisper, I'm ready for love, but your gut still clenches every time someone gets too close. You post, I am powerful, but your breath shallows when you enter the room. That's not resistance, that's mismatch. Your subconscious is entangled with old survival codes, codes that once protected you, but now block you. Taoist truth, water can't flow through a frozen pipe. No matter how much you intend, no matter how clear your vision, if your vessel is constricted, the Tao can't move through. So what do? You don't force. You don't shame the mismatch. You learn to thaw, to regulate, to cohere. Let's talk coherence. It's when your breath, your heartbeat, and your field begin to agree, not just on what you want, but on what you're ready to receive. Simple ritual, try this. Sit. Place one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6. Whisper, I am safe to receive. Do it for 2 minutes. No need to believe it yet. Just teach your field how it feels. Because the Tao doesn't manifest through wishful thinking, it moves through aligned being. And alignment isn't aesthetic, it's nervous system truth. Let's go deeper. There are 3 common mismatches that sabotage quantum reception. Your lips say yes, your cells say no. They remember the rejection, the failure, the dismissal. Solution? Don't bypass. Acknowledge the wound. Say aloud, part of me doesn't feel ready, and I choose to love that part as I receive anyway. Peace feels foreign, so your field recreates storms. You self-sabotage not because you're weak, but because chaos feels familiar. Start small. Sit in silence for 3 minutes a day. No goal, no fixing, just to teach your body what stillness can feel like. You crave deep connection, but your field shuts down when someone truly sees you. That's not hypocrisy. That's a nervous system still healing its entanglements. Practice micro-receiving. Let someone compliment you. Let it land. Say, "Thank you," not, "I got it on sale," not, "You too." Just thank you. Let your field remember what it's like to feel safe and seen. Coherence isn't perfection. It's honesty with energy. And when your field and desire finally match, the Tao doesn't hesitate. It delivers. You think time moves forward. Tick, tock, line by line. But the Tao spirals. Time isn't a ruler. It's a rhythm. In quantum physics, there's no past or future. Only probabilities, entangled potentials, flickering in and out of form. And sometimes, your future self reaches back. Have you ever paused and suddenly knew something? A sentence appeared, a feeling rushed in, a random idea whispered, "Turn left." That wasn't intuition. That was entangled memory from a version of you that already walked through the door. Your stillness was the signal. Your silence was the receiver. You tuned, and time bent. Taoist sages knew. To find your future, sit so still the dust settles. Because the Tao doesn't speak loudly, it echoes in moments you usually skip. Try this. Sit with a cup of tea. No phone, no input. Breathe. Ask, what does future me already know that I forgot? Then don't force an answer. Wait. Let the whisper arrive. Your future self doesn't use words. It uses patterns. You'll suddenly crave a book, hear a song you needed, feel drawn to message someone without knowing why. That's the Tao responding. Quantum entanglement means two particles connected remain connected, even across time. What if your past wounds and your future wisdom were already touching? Some call it déjà vu. Some call it divine timing. Taoism calls it returning to the root before the branch is born. The more still you become, the clearer your timeline gets. Stillness collapses static, and the path appears. Try this ritual. Before bed, ask, "Future me, what did you do today that I can do tomorrow?" Then sleep. No pressure, no journaling. Just trust the Tao to thread the message into your dreams. You'll wake up with a knowing, a pull, a shift. Follow it. Because time isn't just what you pass through. It's what passes through you. And when you stop chasing time, time starts chasing you. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you're entangled with. Not just through desire, but through repetition. Have you noticed it? The same argument, the same heartbreak, the same type of person, the same self-sabotage, over and over again. Different faces, same frequency. This isn't fate punishing you. It's the Tao mirroring you. Quantum feedback loops behave like shadows. If the signal is unconscious, it repeats until it's seen. Psychologists call it trauma repetition. Mystics call it karmic echo. The Tao calls it unresolved energy dancing in a closed circuit. And quantum physics? It says observation collapses the loop. The moment you truly see the pattern, without blame, without shame, without flinching, the loop collapses. The entanglement dissolves. You don't need to fix it all. You just need to witness the feedback and respond differently. Try this. Journal the last 3 painful patterns in your life. Ask, what did each of them make me feel? Who first taught me that feeling? What was I unconsciously trying to resolve? Then pause. Circle the emotion that repeats. That's your entangled signal. And here's the quantum move. Do something you've never done in response. If you usually beg, go silent. If you usually flee, stay present. If you usually blame, breathe instead. It's not about winning, it's about rewiring. The Tao flows through new pathways, not through recycled pain. Repetition is not your punishment, it's your portal. Each time it returns, it's giving you another key, and the loop only breaks when you stop being afraid to look at its shape. Here's the paradox. What you avoid becomes the architect of your timeline. What you face becomes the architect of your freedom. Because quantum entanglement doesn't just link particles, it links choices. And every time you choose presence, you reprogram the field. Quantum entanglement isn't just a theory, it's a daily practice. Like a muscle, it can be trained, stretched, activated, upgraded. Here's the truth no one told you. Your subconscious is programmable, not with affirmations, but with rituals. Let's train your entanglement muscle. Here are 5 rituals that rewire your energetic field. Each morning, sit in front of a mirror, not to judge, but to link. Place your palm on your heart. Whisper, I am both observer and creator. What I see, sees me. Then hold your own gaze for 60 seconds. No agenda, no affirmation, just witnessing. This simple act builds coherence between the conscious and subconscious self. Find a small object, a stone, a shell, a coin. Charge it with a moment of awe. Hold it during a memory that expanded you, laughing with a friend, crying in freedom, standing under the stars. This becomes your anchor object. Each time you hold it, recall that frequency. You're encoding memory into matter and linking intention to object. That's real-world entanglement. Before bed, lie flat. Place one hand on your belly, one on your chest. Whisper one question into the dark. What's the message behind today's pattern? Then say aloud, I allow the field to respond. Don't force a dream. Don't chase a vision. Just let the quantum field whisper back while you sleep. Pick one recurring emotional trigger. Maybe it's traffic. Maybe it's a certain tone of voice. Maybe it's your own inner critic. This week, when it arises, pause for just 5 seconds before reacting. You're not avoiding, you're observing. Each delay in reaction creates a gap for new wiring. That micro gap is where quantum intervention happens. At night, write what surprised you that day. Not what you planned, but what you didn't expect. Coincidences, unexpected calls, moments of déjà vu. You're training your subconscious to notice patterns. And once you notice, you shift what you attract. This ritual expands your entangled awareness by honoring the unplanned. One final tip: consistency matters more than complexity. It's not about dramatic changes, it's about energetic repetition. The Tao doesn't rush, it returns, gently, daily, until the new path becomes your normal. You're not trying to manifest harder, you're trying to resonate deeper. That's how entanglement strengthens, through repeated attention. How to detach without destroying yourself. Let's ask the uncomfortable question. What if the life you've been building was never really yours? What if the job, the partner, the reputation were all entangled to a version of you that no longer exists? This isn't failure, this is evolution. Sometimes you wake up in the wrong movie, but the projector is still in your hand. Let's break this down. There are two types of entanglement: empowering, entrapping. One opens your field, the other loops it. So, how do you know you're stuck in a loop? Here are the signs. You keep meeting the same people in different bodies. Opportunities always fall apart at the last minute. Your dreams feel like escape, not expansion. You feel unseen no matter how loudly you shine. This is not bad luck. It's entangled inertia. You've been broadcasting from an outdated frequency, and that frequency is still matching the old field. But here's the Taoist truth. You don't need to fight the old. You just need to withdraw your signal. Let's walk through how to do this, gently, precisely, without self-collapse. Give it a name: the achiever timeline, the people-pleaser loop, the fear of being alone program. By naming it, you make it visible. By making it visible, you reduce its power. Every false timeline is held in place by an emotional adhesive. It could be guilt. It could be pride. It could be ancestral obligation. Ask, what emotion keeps me here, even though I know I've outgrown it? Even the wrong path began with a pure spark. Find it. Maybe you became a lawyer because you once wanted to protect the powerless. Maybe you got married because you once believed in building together. Extract the gold. Leave the cage. Simple, quiet, unseen. Light a candle. Place your hand on your heart. Say aloud, I release the version of me that made these choices in fear. I honor them, I thank them, and I step beyond them. Blow out the candle. Feel the cut. Clean, not cruel. Let the smoke carry the pattern. Let the silence reprogram your field. One last reminder, you don't need to burn it all down. You're not breaking the timeline. You're retuning your resonance. You're not here to destroy the old you. You're here to free them. And in doing so, you meet the you who's been waiting on the other side of the loop.
Past lives, ancestral echoes, and the ghosts in your field.
Not all entanglements begin in this lifetime. Some began before you even had a name. Some aren't yours, but they live in you anyway. Let's talk about the echoes, ancestral patterns, karmic debts, past life agreements, unfinished soul contracts. You don't remember them, but your nervous system does. Have you ever had a phobia that doesn't make sense? A place that feels like home, but you've never been there? A relationship that feels ancient, yet only began last month? These are the fingerprints of temporal entanglement. Taoism never believed in linear time. It teaches that what you call past and future are simply folds in a greater field. And within that field, entanglement travels, like a violin string vibrating across centuries. Let's trace 3 of the most common time-based entanglements. Your lineage is a river, and trauma flows downstream. Addictions, silences, patterns of scarcity, secrecy, or shame. These aren't just inherited traits. They are unfinished sentences. Your task isn't to carry them, it's to complete the sentence. Try this journal prompt. What story was my mother never allowed to finish? What was my grandfather still afraid of when he died? Your answers won't be factual, they'll be felt, and that's enough. Because healing happens in the energy body, not the history books. Some entanglements were once sacred, now they're simply outdated. Maybe you once took a vow of poverty and now feel guilty making money. Maybe you swore never to love again and now sabotage intimacy. The subconscious obeys every oath, even if you've long forgotten it. Practice. Before sleep, whisper this: if I carry any soul contracts that no longer serve, I release them now in peace. Watch your dreams that night. They often show the exit. These are the unseen agreements you made with those who have passed. A sibling who died young, and you now overachieve to live for two. A parent who suffered, and you subconsciously suffer to stay loyal. These are invisible chains, forged in love but held in guilt. To release them, write a letter, say what was never said, burn it, release the smoke to the Tao. You're not betraying them, you're liberating both of you. Final truth? You're not haunted, you're entangled across time, and the moment you witness the thread, you begin to untie it. Not with force, with breath, with stillness, with sacred awareness. Because when you heal backwards, you also heal forward, and the future version of you already feels the shift. Why quantum change feels like falling apart. You asked for change, then everything broke. Not because you failed, but because the you who asked for change no longer exists. This is the moment physicists call observer collapse and mystics call ego death. In quantum mechanics, the act of observing changes the state of a particle. In spiritual mechanics, the act of awakening collapses the state of the old self. What you see shifts what you are, and what you are collapses what you see. But it doesn't feel like science. It feels like heartbreak, exhaustion, emptiness, disorientation, because you can't simply install a new identity. You must allow the old one to die.
So if you've been forgetting what used to matter, losing interest in what once thrilled you, feeling invisible in rooms where you once shined, that's not depression. That's dimensional decoupling. You're not broken, you're between entanglements. This stage has no name, only metaphors. It's the cocoon, the cave, the 0-point field, where nothing moves, but everything is rearranging. Here's how to navigate the collapse. Stop clinging to false floors. Let the descent complete itself. The longer you fight the fall, the longer you stall the shift. Repeat to yourself, this is not a breakdown. This is the space where a new I gets written. During collapse, the ego screams, "What's wrong with me? Why can't I fix this? Did I do something to deserve this?" Mute it. Every time you speak from pain, you collapse the wave back to the old pattern. Instead, breathe, hold still, let the dust settle without interpretation. Avoid trying to understand too soon. That's how the old mind hijacks the shift. Instead of asking, "What does this mean?" ask, "What part of me is ready to be released?" Meaning will follow, but only after you surrender the need to grasp it. This is the Tao's version of transformation. Not linear, not motivational, not clean. It's a sacred mess. But what comes next? A field reformed, an identity re-encoded, a new version of you who no longer needs to become, because they've already arrived. How intention travels faster than light. Not all prayer is spoken. Not all transmission needs words. Not all connection obeys time. Welcome to the field of entangled intention, where your desire doesn't need a microphone, just coherence. In the quantum world, two particles can be entangled, separate in space, instant in influence. When one shifts, the other responds. No signal, no delay, just resonance. This is how your thoughts ripple, through space, through people, through outcomes, not because the universe rewards effort, but because it echoes alignment. Let's shift your view of prayer, not as pleading, not as begging, not as cosmic negotiation, but as vibrational calibration. So, what is entangled prayer? It's not reciting, it's not chanting, it's not asking for what you don't believe you can receive. Entangled prayer is feeling what you seek as if it already ripples out from you, holding a frequency so consistently that reality adjusts, becoming the signal rather than sending one. Imagine this. You don't ask for love. You become the field in which love naturally lands. You don't demand clarity. You soften your mind until clarity has room to arrive. You don't force healing. You dissolve resistance until healing has nothing left to push against. Quantum entanglement isn't magical thinking. It's intentional interbeing. You don't make the wave collapse. You become the environment in which the correct wave collapses. A practice, prayer without asking. Sit in silence, close your eyes. Bring to mind someone you care about. Now, feel peace, ease, or joy radiating outward from your body to theirs. Don't send it, simply become it. Then open your eyes, walk into the day, carry the frequency, not the request. This is entangled prayer. No aim, no strain, only tuning. And what happens next? A text you didn't expect, a solution that arrives without effort, a shift in energy that feels like grace, because you didn't push, you pulsed, you didn't ask, you align.
Why things happen exactly when you stop forcing them. Some doors won't open until you stop pounding. Some answers won't land until you stop asking. Some timelines won't begin until you stop trying to control the clock. Welcome to the Tao of timing, where the calendar is quantum, and time is not a straight line, but a spiral. You think you're late. The Tao thinks you're marinating. You think you're behind. The Tao thinks you're being seasoned. You want fast. The Tao wants ripe, quantum truth. Your manifestation isn't stalled, it's sinking. To receive something entangled with your future self, you must become the version of you that can hold it, without dropping it. Here's the paradox of entangled timing. It happens all at once, and all in alignment. If you chase, it runs. If you wait, it arrives just when you've stopped watching the door. Taoist teaching. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. And your life? Also nature, also unfolding, also rising in rhythm. But how do you align with Tao timing? First, stop measuring by other people's clocks. Your friends are not your timeline. Instagram is not your oracle. Your age is not your deadline. Then, listen for synchronicity, not urgency. Ask, am I acting from fear of delay or the calm of knowing? Am I launching because it's time or because I'm tired of waiting? Is this step arising naturally or am I pushing to feel in control? Practice. Timeless goal setting. Set a goal, then write, this or better, on Tao's timeline. Each day, act like it's already happening, but drop the stopwatch. True quantum entanglement doesn't just sync energy, it syncs events. The right email shows up. The perfect stranger offers the insight. The thing you almost forced unfolds without strain. Not because you dominated time, but because you dissolved into it. This is what it means to master non-linear arrival, to live in Tao speed, to stop planting seeds, then yelling at them to grow. You are no longer sending signals. You are the signal. There comes a moment when you stop trying to attract things because you realize you are the thing they're trying to find. You are no longer asking. You're anchoring. No longer manifesting. You're magnetizing. No longer reaching outward. You're collapsing timelines inward. This is where quantum theory becomes quantum presence. You don't just observe, you become the observer effect. You don't just affect reality, you restructure it with your frequency. This is the Tao's final teaching. The sage does not act, yet nothing is left undone. Because true entanglement requires no force, only alignment, only stillness, only truth. So how do you become the field? You shed the costume of the chaser. You dissolve the calendar of desperation. You burn the map and become the terrain. Here's what happens when you stop trying. People start finishing your thoughts. Reality starts answering your questions before you ask them.
You walk into rooms and shift the temperature without speaking. You think of someone, and they call. You release the desire, and it arrives. Not because you controlled it, but because you merged with the algorithm of the Tao. This isn't magic. It's entangled coherence. Your nervous system becomes a tuning fork, humming with the reality you now hold. Not want, not beg, hold. Final practice, the mirror walk. Walk slowly. Imagine everything you see is already entangled with you. Every leaf, every passerby, every light turning green. Then whisper, I am already known. I am already found. I am already entangled with what finds me next. You are no longer searching. You are sending out nothing, because you've become the origin point, not the beacon, the core. Final invitation. Every timeline is touching you. Right now, right here, in this field of noticing. And the version of you who already has it all, they're not waiting for you to get better. They're waiting for you to get quiet and notice and step in. Closing whisper. You were never meant to force the wave, only to tune to its frequency and become the water. The Tao isn't outside you. You are already entangled with it. Now go live as if that's true, because it already is, and always has been.